Hello. So in this brief video, I want to go over why, and I'm going to do my best to not let my eyes wander all over the place. I'm going to go over why veterans and active duty service members might not want to disclose that they have mental health issues, or most of them just will never even talk about it. The number one reason that I know is for active duty members is that they don't want to be deemed unfit. So if you are deemed unfit for duty, you are discharged from the military. You can no longer do your job, so you are given a discharge where you get some of the benefits, and but you're no longer in the military. And some people might say, okay, well, so what? You lose your job, but you still get your benefits. The military is what's called a total institution. So that means that every single aspect of your life is influenced by this institution. When I lived on military bases, there was no reason for me to ever leave. It was an entirely different world. We have movie theaters, we have hospitals, we have schools, we have parks. Like, there is zero reason for me to leave a base. I have no needs that I can get off base that weren't taken care of on base, so I rarely left. And not all military personnel live on base. Like, some of them like to stay connected to the civilian world, but from the ones I knew, that was pretty much stayed on base, most of them. So when you get taken out of there, you are removed. It's almost like you're excommunicated in a weird way. Like you lose your community, you lose, like, you can't live on base anymore. You like, if you're a vet, you still get access to services that are on military bases most of the time. Like, you can still go on base, but you're no longer doing the same things as your friends are doing. It's horrible. You just all of a sudden aren't able to do what you used to do. And if it's a mental health problem, we always think about PTSD, unfortunately, when it comes to veterans, right? Like, what a horrible thing to have to deal with. So, be empathetic to that. Like, they might not want to disclose because they're going to lose their life. And the reason that I say that is because I knew several guys who were infantry, and they developed PTSD. I remember I had a conversation with one. I was like, hey, I think you're starting to show a little bit of, that. And he freaked out on me. He was like, he's like, don't ever say that. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? He was like, don't ever say that. If anyone found out, I would have a fucking job. That was it. And for him, job was also family and community and everything like that. And he had a heart for service. That's all he ever wanted to do. And all of a sudden, you just can't do it anymore. He was eventually medically discharged. I don't know the specifics of that, but I do know that he was eventually medically discharged. And about 10 years later, unfortunately, he did take his own life. So that was my ex-boyfriend. And we were not together at the time. Anyways, so that's one big reason that they won't tell anyone, especially with their active duty. The next is it's a status. It's like a warping of their status. So they got into a position where it was their job to protect other people, and to be, as we talked about in my previous the military cultural competency series, a beacon of pride and confidence for other people. So if they suddenly become afraid or unable to deal with things that they've been trained to deal with, that's a horrible mind fuck. Like, another obvious reason. And then finally is the stigma that comes with it. So A lot of people think that veterans are dangerous if they have PTSD. For fuck's sake, excuse me, Lord. Whew. You can tell this is a sensitive topic. I'm cursing. I've resigned myself to not doing it as much, by the way. I've heard people who work with veterans say things like, you got to be careful because they have PTSD, or like, you got to like, you know, like acting like I should walk around them like they're a freaking grenade that's about to go off. So there's stigma that comes with that. And then there's also just the idea that you're damaged goods after that. You're no longer useful. So even those beliefs are all false, that is how a lot of them start to think of themselves or worry other people will think of them. So those are a few reasons that veterans and active duty people might not talk about mental illness.